Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We are watching Kizumonogatari, part one. Yeah, we finished Monogatari, going on to this. I know this is the first part of the watch order. That's kind of weird, because I know these movies came out way later, but I guess with the way the story goes, you're actually supposed to watch it now, the way it was written. So, it's interesting. It makes me wonder, like, how people watching this as it aired handled that. I don't know. I guess I'll just keep that in mind. But, yeah, it's three movies, which is very different from, you know, anime episodes. It makes me wonder how long these videos are gonna be because my discussions were already getting pretty long. Um, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Hopefully I have enough recording space. Um, we'll see about that. But yeah, I guess it is called Kizumonogatari. Last was Bakemonogatari, right? And like Bakemono means monster, Monogatari is story. It's kind of a combination of those. So like this, Kizumonogatari. I know Kizu is like injury or like wound. That's like the context I've heard it in, at least. Um, and I guess like I would assume Kizumono means something. I mean, like wound thing, like wounded thing. Someone who was wounded. I don't know. I guess Aragi's pretty wounded in a way. um, I don't know. I don't really want to Google it and see if there's more meaning behind the title. Because I'm sure stuff about this would pop up. So, I don't want to get spoiled. I don't know. You guys can tell me, I guess, if Kizumono means something specific other than just the obvious, wounded and thing, right? Wound thing. I don't know. Anyway, who cares? We are starting Kizumonogatari, part one, the Iron-Blooded arc, apparently. So yeah, there's a Patreon down in the description if you want the unedited reaction with the picture and everything, or you can just line up your own copy with this as we start. But we are starting in 3, 2, 1. March 26th to April 7th. So is this spring break then? Right? Vampire tragedy history. So okay, so is this gonna be spring break then? Because I saw that it says it's Kiyomi Vamp, right? I assume that's like the name of the arc, basically. Oh man. Ooh. Wow. That looks the tree. Wow. Hair's on the other side. Okay. Wow. Looks very impressive. Oh, they keep showing this tree, huh? They like showing that tree a lot in Bake. I'm assuming it's the same tree, right? The giant tree at the school. That's the only giant tree that we've had shots of before. Wow, this looks, oh my god. This looks crazy. Oh my. It looks so like, wow, very different. Very different. The door. It looks so good. Hmm. Light. Hmm. Ooh. So is he already a vampire? Looked like it. Merelict? Something light, I think, right? Hmm. Wow. That looks so good. Man, it already just has like a very different visual style than Bake did. Oh my god. Okay. Alright. They just gotta show off. Like, I don't know. Hmm. The eye. Hmm, yep. That's the tree. I'm assuming this is the cram school, the abandoned school, right? Because, I mean, they've liked showing shots of the giant tree growing in the middle of the school in Bake. Oh, they're doing the helicopter thing still. That they did in Bake a few times. Hmm. So he's already a vampire. That's what it looked like, at least. He has the fangs, right? Hmm. It's like all the crows. It's like a, you know, ill omen, right? Very ill omen. Man, the sky looks crazy. Hmm. 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 Is the sun? Are vampires hurt by the sun in this universe? Uh. Hmm. I'm thinking they might be. Maybe. Is he on fire? No. Oh, okay. He is. Awesome. Oh, okay. Great. Cool. Wow. Oh my god, it looks so good. Like, sorry that you're burning alive, Aragi, but you're fine, I'm sure. You're like immortal, right? In fact, he should be even more immortal. They talked about how he was way stronger during spring break, so he'll be fine. He's okay. Don't worry about him. What on earth? Oh, ends badly, Finirama, right? Hmm, no idea what that one meant. Something, this vampire history ends badly. Something like that. Hmm. Being burned away. Definitely some meaning you could find in that, I think. Depending on the circumstances that led him up to this, exactly. Let me get my mouse off the screen. My bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, huh. Can definitely imagine some thematic meaning behind this imagery, you know. Hmm. Flag of the Rising Sun. Alright. Kizumonogatari Iron Blooded Arc. Tekketsu-hen. Oh, man. I'm so glad we're getting spring break. I did not know if we were going to keep up the vague allusions to stuff that happened during spring break more, or, like, I don't know. I didn't know how long that was going to keep up, but I'm glad we're getting it now, I guess. Ooh. Hmm. I assume we're going to go back a little bit before this and see how Araki reached this point, becoming a vampire. Hmm. Another tree. They love these trees. He's so cool. March 25th. Couple of months before Bake started. Hmm. Oh, is that Hanakawa? It must be, right? Yeah, because, I mean, we know Hanakawa. She just looks very different. No, we know she's involved in Spring Break. Yeah, it must be her. Yeah. She looks very different. So does Araki, to be fair. Hmm. Do they know each other yet? What? Okay. All right. I awesome. So this is like the first scene of Bake. All right. Okay. Let's calm down. Oh, the tree. What does the tree mean? I need an explanation. Car crash. We didn't get to see this in Pocket. The awkward aftermath. What are you doing? Hmm. And then you become Brew. She looks great. Aragi, say something. Oh, wow. He's so awesome. He's so cool. Oh my god, it looks so good. Hmm. Her running after him, huh? Makes sense. Oh. Hmm. Okay. She knows his name. Well, they go to the same school. We've covered this in Bake about him and Shinjagahara, about how he doesn't know anything about his classmates because of how he is. Yeah. Oh, but the background. His hair. Why does he look so hot? Like, what's going on? Hmm. Okay. His name means tree. Mm-hmm. So are all these trees some kind of symbolism for Araki, I wonder? There's tree in his name. Oh, he knows her name. Hello? I guess, okay. He knows her name. He's just surprised that she knows his. Because he's a loser, he thinks, I'm sure. Hmm. This looks crazy. Including PE. Made one mistake. Man. What? Ask him about the alien part. He sure is. He sure is. What? You have friends? Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't really think that's what she wants. Yeah. Man, it looks so good. Hmm. Why is she bringing this up? Ooh. Hmm. Interesting. Uh, she likes to be out alone at night a lot, doesn't she? She doesn't want to be home. Hmm. Think we know who that might be. True. No shadow. Man, Shadows mean something, I'm telling you. Well, you will be in luck shortly. I don't think Aragi's a vampire yet, right? Hmm. Oh. Oh. That was a cut there. Hmm. Once a superhuman being. Yeah, he's a loner of his own choice, essentially, because of his own mentality, I think. Not because there's something wrong with him. What's he gonna say? Lower his strength as a human. Lower his strength as a human. Hmm. Okay, sure. Lower his strength as a human. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure. Okay. I mean, sure is in like that I understand the logic. It's stupid. But hmm I feel like that's not hmm. Hmm. That is a very interesting insight into Aragi there. Weaken you as a human. Weaken your strength as a human. Or lower your strength as a human. Hmm. I don't think Aragi is interested in that. Yeah, and it's spring break. He's not really all about that. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Very fast. It's like the old you had to hit the button multiple times for different letters and stuff. People would be fast on those. Hmm. Nya nya. Hmm. He made a friend. Is he weaker as a human now? Man, the everything just looks so good. It's so charming. The character designs are very different. Hanakawa looks different, right? She has one braid instead of two. Araragi, his hair is on the other side. They both have red eyes. Hmm. The car that crashed earlier. Aragi doesn't care. Hmm. Oh, it's so cute. Man, yeah, it's like, uh, He's so happy about having made a friend, right? Despite what he thinks about it, you know? Hmm. Oh, I'm thinking ahead too much. I gotta I'm really thinking about stuff. Is this his house? Looks a little bit different, doesn't it? Is there a shot of her? Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, your house looks a little bit different. What happened? I guess just everything looks very, the characters look different. If that is the school with the tree in it, which I think it is, that looked very different. What on earth? All right, man. If Bakemonogatari wasn't like, weird and avant-garde enough. All right. All right. That's great. Exciting magazine. Why not just go out the way you came in? Come on. Why are you walking like that? Hmm. Thinking about it. I don't know. I wonder what he's thinking. He made a friend. Hmm. Okay. Oh yeah, you weren't supposed to be out alone at night. Right. Remember that from a few minutes ago? Hmm. Is that SOS? The I'm pretty sure triple dot triple dash triple dot is SOS. A little bit ominous. Man, these buildings have to be like based off real buildings, right? In Japan. Okay. Um is he well, hmm. My first thought was that he's like being baited down there by this blood trail. But we know that Shinobu, or, I guess she doesn't have the name Shinobu yet. We know she actually is injured, right? What they said in Baka is that he sacrificed himself to save a mortally wounded vampire. So I'm guessing that's what we're about to see. Oh my god. Oh. So I wonder, I assume he must already have his whole mentality about saving people, right? Because I would be turning around and leaving if I was him. Um, but based off what we know about Bake, about what is probably about to happen, and the fact that he's really going down here, you know, I think he already has his mentality about having to save people. Hmm, man. Oh, you hear like the whispering? Oh, it's like reflecting off of him. Oh, it's like he's descending into hell, just going down further and further. Yeah, just down more and more. Oh, oh, down we go. Oh, Does he see it? There she is. Don't cut away. Okay, I don't think we did. Yeah, what do you do? I mean, what? I mean, what would... It's like she has wings, you know, the blood. Ooh. First time we've heard her talk. Interesting. Permitted to help her. Oh. uh, I don't think so. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God, dude. Oh, I don't think an ambulance is gonna help here. Holy shit, like, oh my God. Oh, terrifying. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's that sent a chill down my spine. Mmm. We haven't heard that in a while. Kiss shot Ashura Orient Heart Under Blade. Mmm. Mmm. You would, you know, he certainly is. It's interesting. Yeah, why isn't she regenerating, right? He got pretty much more beat up than this than she did by Kombaru. Hmm. Worthless human. That's kind of how he feels about himself, right? It doesn't even answer that. Hmm. Hmm. Because we know he's gonna do it, right? Hmm. And I don't think he's, like, gonna be tricked into doing it or something. Hmm. Oh. Run away. Hmm. Wow. Okay. Oh. I no, we know he's going to. But hmm. Hmm. Oh my god. How did she even manage to do that? Oh my god, she's apologizing. Hmm. What's she apologizing for exactly? Oh, oh, oh. The baby crying sound, the like yeah. I but we know he's gonna do it. Oh, huh. All right. Hmm. Thinking about it more, maybe? Mm-hmm. He can't bring himself to just leave, right? It's he said it in Baka a million times. He can't help it. Yeah, even though he'll die. Hmm. She's a monster. True. Uh, he has to. That's what he thinks, right? Hmm. Hmm. Very different than, well, we'll see. Oh. He's like mad at himself for this, it seems, but hmm. It's like he's doing this um because he'll die. Right? Yeah. It's different than just committing suicide, right? Because he's helping someone, sucking his blood, every drop. Hmm. Oh. Like think about like what this is for Araki, right? Yeah. Well, the way I don't even remember who said it, but this is him sacrificing himself for a vampire. He said it was his fault, and I guess I don't know. He made this decision. It's self-sacrificial, but it's like he wanted to die. It's like, he wants to die, but this gives him an excuse, because, he's saving someone else. Well, it didn't work. He is still alive. No. Oh. Okay. So she like age regressed. Um, this certainly isn't. Hmm. This isn't the Shinobu that we know, though. That's for sure. Yeah, I guess she did like die pretty much. So I'd be pretty tired. That's a while. Huh. Yeah, it's been 3 days. It was March 25th. That was the night of the 25th, and now it's the 28th. Wow. Hmm. Oh, okay. And now we're back here. Man, just I feel like there's such like deep meaning behind him getting all of his blood sucked out and now him burning in the sun. I don't know. I'll talk about it in the discussion. Anyway, she's gonna save him, I guess. Oh my god, just like okay. A nuclear explosion was set off by her landing on the ground. What even are all of those things? Just construction stuff sitting here? Hmm. Oh, okay. He's fine. Even his clothes. You like the wings on her again when the fire went out? Hmm. Yeah, she is a legendary vampire, right? Hmm. And it's so weird hearing her talk after her being completely silent in Bake. Mm-hmm. It's a very long title. Hmm. 400 years. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like he's been reborn, you know? He really has been. It's like, we'll talk about it in the discussion. Hmm. Welcome to the world of the night. Oh, the backgrounds are just crazy. So is this supposed to be the school? Because it looks a little bit different, doesn't it? But the tree is there, so Yeah, that's Shinobu, all right. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is too long. Shinobu would be even better. You sure did. Yeah, he's the minion, he's the servant, right? But it just seems like their positions in Bake are so different. Certainly not like this anymore. So I don't know what's gonna happen to end up the way it is in Bake. Okay, I don't know. Hmm. Yeah. Well, she healed thanks to you. Oh, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's like very different than their dynamic in Bake, right? He's the servant, she's the master, you know. But in Bake, it almost seems like the other way around. But I just don't know how that can happen. Is that okay? I guess that's a display of fealty. What is that noise? Is her head a dog toy? Hmm. Well, he sure was. He wanted to die for her. Hmm. Okay. She hasn't made a minion for 400 years? Hmm. Oh, so much distance between them. Hmm. Come human again. Hmm. It's an interesting face, but I guess he can. I'm not sure. Seems like she's kind of hiding something, but I don't know. Names of three. Okay. Dramaturgy. Episode and guillotine cutter. Okay. I. His name is Episode. Some very dramatic names. True. What they were going to. They basically did. Is Araragi up for fighting? Fix my cheek. Okay. Okay. Must be at full power. I want to say stuff, but I can't. I have to read. Yeah, he's, he's immortal. But so she was supposed to be as well, right? So, and she lost. Oh, okay. Alright. I don't know what that was. Reminds me of Kamburu attacking him. I wonder if they're probably the same train tracks, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Are you sure? I guess. I don't know. And what if they're just all together? And this area looks crazy. Oh, hi there. What on earth? What are his arms? And is he like 10 feet tall? Oh no. Is he just, I guess he's just fighting one right now. Okay. And we're just gonna destroy just everything. I don't know. Like, okay, I guess that's dramaturgy. Oh no. What, like, what even is that? Like, you were supposed to fight them one by one. Okay, there's Episode. That's a weird name. Here's the last one. What was his name? Guillotine something? Alright, it's the Guts. Alright. Guillotine Cutter. Alright. So we have Dramaturgy, Episode, and Guts from Berserk. Oh? Oshino! What is he doing here? I forgot about that. That Oshino has to do with the spring break stuff too. Okay. Is that just reversed, I think? Are they speaking a different language, or... Oh, yeah. What does Oshino have to do with all of this? I didn't even think about that, about how Oshino is going to be involved in all of this too. What is he doing here, though? Okay, apparently Oshino's awesome. All right. All right. I think Oshino's going to come lend a hand, as usual. Mm-hmm. Are you? Mm-hmm. Not a human anymore, huh? It's like he's just realizing it. Yeah. Not a human. I think we have a better idea of what that might mean for Aragi now, too. I didn't realize Oshino is, I don't know, a superhuman. Hmm. Just giving up, I guess. Rotation. What is Guts gonna do? He doesn't even have a weapon. Guillotine cutter. I just stopped calling him that. Oh, okay. Oh my god. His catchphrase. Let's go. Hmm. Interesting. What is Oshino? Uh, I'm sure we'll figure it out. I'm not gonna just pointlessly speculate when we'll probably get answers. You saved yourself. Yeah. Man, it's just his first two lines ever are his two catchphrases. Hmm. Let's go home. Hmm. Okay. So he like knows what's going on. Ooh. Was it already like his base before this? Oh, okay. Kiss shot. Hmm. Okay. Oshinomeme. And I don't think he's just passing by. He has some very specific. He's part of this in some way. Hmm. Please do. Oh. Yeah, he just said that he showed her the way here a few days ago. Not well. It did not go well. Yeah, I assume they're going to keep cooperating. Mm-hmm. That's why. Yeah, that's. I mean, how do you fight them one on one if they're just gonna stick together? Yeah. A boundary. A barrier. Okay. Boundaries and barriers exist. Really, what is his aim here? Mm-hmm. Maintain the balance. Okay. Like between humans and aberrations? What does he mean by the balance, though? Ooh. Mm-hmm. Random homeless man. I love his laugh. It certainly seems like he's pretty great at it. He stopped all three of them at the same time. The balance of what, exactly? Hmm. Interesting. I mean, I assume he means, like, humans and aberrations, but... Hmm. Mm-hmm. True. Oddities. Mm-hmm. Kai. Okay. Haven't heard of that. We know about that, right? The energy drain. Yeah, we have heard she's a legendary vampire, so... Oh, the framing of the shot here. He's in the light up there. They're way down in the dark. Okay, well, you can say it's a simple task when you aren't the one who has to do it. Hmm. Calls him a human still, huh? That seems to have quite the impact on Araragi. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a very interesting. I don't know. She's obviously hiding something about this whole human thing. I don't know if it's just that she isn't planning on it, really, or... We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Can negotiate with him. Okay. Well, I don't know. I'll have some thoughts about it. It's weird, right, that he is here. He just happens to show up here at the same time as all of these vampire hunters, right? Hmm. $5 million yen, right? Oh, only two? I thought it was five. Isn't it five? Doesn't he say 5 million in Bake? That's a lot more than he charges anyone else still. Yeah, do you have any money? Kiss shot? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Sure. Are we still gonna have to fight them despite the negotiations? Hmm. Okay. This kind of helps. Yeah, sure. I guess I can see what he means by maintaining the balance, right? Because she apparently needs full power to make him human again. So I guess this does kind of maintain the balance in a way. He can go back to being human. Obviously, we know this doesn't work out. So, hmm. Very heavy debt, but it's interesting. It's like it's different. It's a, you know, it's a heavy monetary debt, but that's different than the debts to people that he makes such a big deal out of, you know? Oh, what? That was an hour? 58 minutes. All right. Oh, man. I think the credits, yeah, I mean, I think there's just 4 minutes of credits. And there's a preview at the end I'm not going to watch. Huh. Well, I mean, that was just setup, you know? That just felt like setup. Really, because I'm pretty sure all of these are pretty much an hour long, so, like, you could pretty much think of this as just one long movie. So, this is really just setup, right? This is just the first third of the movie, pretty much. So, I don't know. Makes sense, I guess. Um, I certainly have a lot of thoughts already, though, about a lot of stuff. A lot of which is just kind of speculation about stuff that I'm sure is going to be answered within the next two movies anyway. But I mean, I'll still mention it just so you guys know what I'm thinking. Um, yeah. It's really good though. It looks so good. Like, man, I mean, I know this was made way later because Bakemonogatari was made in like 2009. I know these movies came out way more recently than that. Um, man, yeah, it looks so good. It's very different. You know, all of the locations. I feel like there's really some meaning you can get out of all the locations looking different and the character designs being different. Um, I don't know. We'll talk about that too. All right, guys, let's go through it. This might take a while. I don't know. I'm, you know, it's an hour long. It's, you know, really, it's about 55 minutes. So, I mean, it's similar to two episodes. You know, if I think of it like that, it's a little bit better to stomach, I suppose. I just don't know how long it's going to take me, because I have a lot of thoughts about stuff. So, like, first of all, finally, we're getting spring break. Thank God, because you know, in Bake, when they mention spring break so many times, so much stuff about it, and it's like, oh God, we're getting it. Thank God. I'm so happy we're getting it already, and I get to know what all of these characters have been talking about this entire time. I want to know how accurate Aragi's thoughts about stuff are, um, the stuff he said about spring break, because we've had so many different outlooks on the events of spring break, what happened, whose fault it is, all of this, right? You know, like right off the bat, like I just want to talk about Shinobu, or I guess Kishshot in this case. That's her name right now. You know, there's this whole back and forth between the way Aragi framed it, between framing himself becoming a vampire because of Kishshot. The way he always framed it was he said it's his fault and that, you know, she didn't do anything wrong. And Oshino a couple times said that he was attacked by Shinobu, which isn't really the case, right? He wasn't attacked. It's I don't really know. Him saying it's his fault is interesting. Um, you know what? We'll talk about that when we get there. So the first scene is interesting. You know, we have all these crows like signaling an ill omen. You know, uh, it's a very cool opening scene, and then Aragi gets set on fire. Some very, you know, some imagery that I think is you know, it's just like it's unmissable. Just him reaching up at the sun and burning. You know, it's like, oh man, it's like you know, the way I talked about during the episode, how it's like when he pretty much is committing suicide here, right? I mean, really, that's basically what he's doing. He knows he's gonna die. He was having turmoil with himself about deciding to kill himself here, basically, right? I mean, that's literally what he's doing. He already walked away. He doesn't have to do this. And I think it's different than just his, like, you know, oh, I really have to help people. I can't help it. It's like, in this case, like, it seems like he wants to die, right? I mean, the stuff he says very much uh, goes along with that. You know, like, I'll be a better person in my next life, you know? I'll be wiser, able to blame my misfortune on others, which is a very interesting. It's like he's aware. He's aware of his mentality and how, you know, he blames everything on himself, right? That's something, you know, he always thinks he's at fault for everything, all of that. And it's very interesting insight to know that he is aware of that, that he always blames his misfortune on himself instead of other people, you know. Be reborn as someone like that. Yeah, and they specifically say be reborn, right? And you know, they you know, and then in this scene, It's, take my blood, take every last drop. And she sucks him dry. It's like in his suicide attempt. It's like this Araragi, um, it's almost like he does die in a way, right? At least the imagery and what they say makes you think of it like that. He has all of his blood sucked out of him. He burns up in the sun, and this imagery to me, it's like he's being reborn. It's just like he said, I'll be reborn as someone better. Well, I guess that's what he's trying to do. He was reborn in a way. Now it's time for him to start being better, right? um, yeah, that's just what the imagery evokes in my mind, along with what they say. About all of his blood being sucked out of him, wanting to be reborn. It's like, in a way, Araragi, the Araragi that we don't know, that we barely know at all, because it's the Araragi from before Bake, and that we only see before this. So it's like that version of Araragi does die here, in a way. Um, and I guess in that context, it makes sense why. Oh God, I'm gonna sneeze. Never mind. It makes sense why he cares so much about Shinobu, for one thing, right? Like, again, we don't know how this is going to end up. We know this is going to end poorly. It literally says that in those text flashes, right? The one that ends with, it's like, vampire history will end badly, is pretty much what it says, right? And, like, yeah, we know the outcome for this is bad, right? We know Shinobu is not in a good place. Araragi is really not in a good place after all of this. He blames himself for all of it. So, I mean, we know this isn't going anywhere good for him. and it makes sense why he cares so much about Shinobu, because, like, in a way, he really does owe his life to her. Because he wanted to die here. He was planning on dying here. The only reason he doesn't die is because she makes him a minion, right? Which, it's interesting, because she says everyone who gets their blood drunk by her becomes a minion. So, I mean, but she hasn't made a minion in 400 years, so, I mean, I guess the vampires have to eat very often or something. I mean, I don't know. That's weird. But, yeah, I mean, he was planning on dying. He doesn't. He wants to be reborn as a better person, basically. He wants to reborn and change who he is now, which, like, this is pretty much, it's like the bottom, it's the lowest point. This is Araragi's rock bottom, right? The way he is in the first, what is this, 30 minutes of this movie, right? He has no friends. His mentality is very bad. You know, he's suicidal, essentially, right? He wants to die. It makes sense that his mentality towards life, everything he thinks, his mentality about relationships and human connection, has led him to be suicidal, right? And he wants to be reborn. He gets everything sucked out of him, right? And it's like the sun, it's like he's being reborn, he's being burned away and regenerating, I just think that's very powerful imagery, I suppose. Okay, now, Hanakawa. We meet Hanakawa, which, it's interesting. They have a very, I don't know, it's kind of a nonchalant meeting. Nothing really dramatic happens. I mean, there's the panties with the wind, the ridiculous wind gust, and him seeing her, all of that, right? Which, I guess, if we really want to overanalyze it and really think about it, God, we could say, like, because she has this line, about skirts don't provide enough security. What does she say? Come on. Skirts don't provide enough security to hide what you want to be hidden, or something like that, right? I'm not making that up in my mind, am I? Yeah, to hide what you want to be hidden. So, like, if we think about that in terms of what Hanakawa is like as a person, there's a lot of stuff she wants to hide from other people, about herself. And, like, you could imagine this stupid panty shot scene as almost being like, Araragi seeing her in a different light than most people do, being able to see a tiny glimpse of this part of her that she wants to remain hidden, right? Not that I really, well, I don't know. Sure, I'm just gonna end it at that. I'm just gonna let that lay by itself. I don't think I need to overanalyze this scene too much. But, you can view it like that, I suppose, right? And then, it's interesting. For one, she just looks a mate. Like, what is this? It looks great. But she's very nice to him. She really wants to be connected to him. Of course, he, acts like a awesome. He's so cool. Look how cool he is. This scene was just ridiculous. The footstep, the waving to her as he walks by. Yeah, he's so Araragi. You're so cool, man. But yeah, he just immediately wants to leave her. Of course, that's only because she reaches out to him that they just have a conversation, right? It just makes me wonder why she wants to talk to him so badly. I feel like it just has to do with the panty shot thing and how the way you could view that of some kind of like, you know what, whatever. Yeah, she comes down and talks to him. He's trying to walk away, of course. And they have a nice conversation. She knows his name, of course. He's weird for not knowing her name, which they established with like the Sindrugahara stuff in the first few episodes of Bake, right? Because he's a loner. Of course, no, he does know her name. He knows her name. He is surprised that she knows his name because he thinks he's such a loser, right? And Hanakawa is famous and awesome, right? God, and then there's the stuff about the tree. Do I really want to talk about the trees? Is that really, like, are we really doing that? Like, so the G, or the Gi in Aragi's name means tree. And we have so much imagery of trees all the time, right? Trees are, there's this giant tree. We start with a tree. The first shot is a tree. When the wind blows by with Hanakawa, all of the petals are blown off of this tree, right? When the crazy wind happens, all the petals are blown off this tree. If I could find it, it's about to happen. And like, what does that mean? It means something about Araragi. It has to, right? Because I've been wanting some explanation for these trees for a while, but because this was in Bake too, they show the shots of the tree so often. I guess I don't really know what. You could probably take something from all the petals falling off this tree when he sees her. I don't know. I feel like there's something you could take from that, but I don't know. We're really getting sidetracked off of anything like even close to sane. So anyway, he has a good conversation with Hanakawa. Okay, so we set up that Aragi has 0 friends, none, right? Which I kind of guessed before. I mean, it makes, from what we saw in Bake, it certainly makes sense, right? It seemed like his only friend was Hanakawa before Bake, and this is before he even knows Hanakawa, so he has 0 friends. No form of human connection at all. Really surprising that he's suicidal, right? And, the whole suicidality thing, it goes back to that one line when he's talking to Sindrugahara. I dropped my pen. That one line when he's talking to Sindrugahara in their room. Man, what episode was that? It's the episode he meets Konburu, I think. Yeah, it is. When he's talking to Sindrugahara and they're talking about their future together. And he's like, oh, I haven't thought about my future yet. Very much, right? Very common in suicidal people, right? Makes sense to me. And it's like, obviously, his actions throughout Bake, where he tries to kill himself for other people several times, he does the same thing here, right? His alien friend told him, and she's just, this was like one of my favorite jokes. This might be my favorite joke in the entire anime so far. My alien friend told me, what, you have friends? It's great. It's awesome. Okay, he doesn't bring up the thing about his strength as a human yet, right? It happens after they're talking about vampires. For one, I feel like, her not liking him saying this stuff about her is interesting, because it brings me back to the idea that, like, Hanakawa's behavior, the fact that she's so perfect like this, or perfect, seems like she's perfect, right? It's like, that's not the goal of her behavior, right? That's like a byproduct of it. And the fact that so many people think she's perfect like this because of the way she acts reinforces that behavior. And I think she realizes that, and that's why she doesn't like it, right? She doesn't like the way she acts, I think. She doesn't like her situation, right? Her abusive parents and awful life. So then everyone talking about how she's awesome and perfect and amazing, and so famous, she doesn't like that, right? That makes sense to me. She's not happy about her position in life, and everyone else is like, wow, you're so awesome. And then we bring up the vampire, which, it's interesting. I wonder how Hanakawa heard about it, right? I was thinking about, as we were watching this, how, she says it's not safe to walk around at night because of the vampire. Um, for one, we know Hanakawa likes to be alone at night all the time because she never wants to be home. So she wanders around at night. We saw several scenes of that, like when Aragi called her on the phone in Bake, she was just wandering around because she doesn't want to be at home. So, I don't know. I wonder if that's something to do with why she heard about this rumor. But she says some interesting stuff about wanting a superhuman to exist, right? A vampire, a superhuman. Which I guess it's, oh god, in this shot, it's so sad. It's almost like, what this makes me think, cutting between that and her like this, it just makes me think about the, her inner problems that she's not showing to anybody, right? This is like a representation of that, her looking very sad and it raining and all of that. Compared to this, this is how she portrays herself to everyone, But, her talking about wanting a superhuman being, right? Well, she kind of finds one in Araragi, right? Because we know she's going to have more connection with Araragi. She says she really wants to meet a vampire. Well, she ends up meeting one. And I don't know. It's interesting, because it's like she, in Bake, in the last episode of Bake, so I mean, literally, the last episode we watched before this, Black Hanakawa talks about how, Hanakawa, her life is so awful and all of this, and then Aragi comes around, and he's this, doesn't she even say supernatural being, pretty much? That's her classmate? It just makes me think, like, superhuman being. I wonder if it's like she's looking for someone to, like, rescue her from her situation, pretty much, right? Like a superhuman being. That's what she thinks she needs, I suppose. I wonder if that's what she means by the reward. I don't know. That's kind of what it makes me think. And then, okay, so this is really what I want to talk about. This is like, I think this is a very important, undercurrent of everything that happened in this movie, basically, right? It's weird that you have no friends. If I had friends, they'd lower my strength as a human, right? What on earth does that mean, right? Let's think about what is he talking about? What does that possibly mean? Hanakawa doesn't get it either, right? She really does not understand. He says, if I had friends, I'd have to worry about them, right? If they got hurt, I'd be hurt. They weaken him as a human. They become your weak points. Sure, I guess that makes sense, right? They weaken you as a human. So it's like, through your connection to other people, in his view, you become less human, right? They make you weak. And the reason why I'm phrasing it specifically as you become less human, right? Not just that they make you weaker, is because, well, what happens immediately after this, right? Think about this, right? He goes on about how if he has friends, his what is it again? His strength as a human will be weakened or lowered. Oh, come on. Yeah, if I had friends, they'd lower my strength as a human. Okay, well, what happens immediately after this? He becomes a vampire. He literally loses his humanity, right? Like, he makes his first friend. Right now he has no friends, so he's human, right? He makes his first friend, which is Hanakawa. What happens after this? In a way, right, view it like this. I'm not actually blaming Hanakawa for it. I'm just saying, in a way, because of Hanakawa, right? I'm not going to say it is actually because of Hanakawa, but because of his connection to her in this really dumb way, right? He is horny thinking about her, so he decides, okay, I'm going to go out and buy these magazines. And that's what leads him to running into Kiss Shot, right? That's what leads him down here. He finds the blood when he's out alone at night, right? So, literally, through his connection to another person, which is what he's talking about, right? A friend, his strength as a human sure has weakened. He literally loses his humanity because of his connection to another person, right? Like, that's literally what happens, Like, again, I'm not saying, like, I'm not saying I agree with Araragi's like point about this. Like, obviously, it's not actually Hanakawa's fault, and it's not actually like his mindset is correct or something because this happens to him. I'm just saying, like, in terms of his mindset, the whole his strength as a human will weaken if he becomes friends with people, if he forms connections with people. That is literally what happens next, right? Because of his connection to Hanakawa, because of him thinking about her and their interaction, he runs into a vampire and he literally loses his humanity. um, I just, that's very, yeah, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? I don't know, man. I don't know if we're thinking of it like that. If we're thinking about, man, I don't know. I don't really want to go crazy about that yet because it's yet to be seen how far. That could just be like a. I can't help but imagine that as like as an analogy for his situation, his whole like losing his humanity, becoming weaker as a human, and forming connections with other people. I can't help but imagine that will continue across these next two films. I'm not going to go crazy thinking about it yet, I guess. But we know, yeah, I just can't get that out of my mind though. That he literally, he certainly becomes weaker as a human. He is no longer human at all after forming this relationship with Hanakawa, right? I mean, just having one conversation with her, becoming her friend, right? Is that all I want to say about that? Maybe. I'm sure it'll come back up. Anyway, um, so it's very interesting here, right? He denies her help at first, kind of, right? He's terrified. He doesn't want to help her, because he'll die. He's terrified of her. Um, doesn't want to give her the blood, but then he just goes off and thinks about it. Which, for one, it's like this feels like a callback to when Hanakawa mentioned like the vampire charm, uh, or what do they call it? The vampire, do they call it charm? I don't remember. Hypnotism, something like that. Um, but like it almost seems like that's what she's doing to him, just ordering him to help, because she's so shocked when he doesn't. Um, yeah, and he doesn't help her. At first, at least. So, but then he goes off and thinks about it, which again, it's some of the stuff she said while she was asking him for help in that very rude way, like she deserved it. It's very I feel like it plays into Aragi's mindset. She called him like a worthless human, all of that, when it's like that's what he thinks about himself. Oops, I muted my mic. He thinks he's worthless and that, he hmm. So I don't know. It's very interesting. I can't really get much meaning from it other than just it's interesting that she said that when that's what he thinks about himself. Because I don't really think that has to do with why he decides to go back and help her. Because he decides to go back and help her when she's not acting like that anymore. So maybe that's just, I don't know, it means something. But yeah, and then he's sitting here thinking about it. He'll die, but I think that's what he wants. It's like this is an excuse for him to die. Because it's not just he has to help her, right? He already has that mindset about how, okay, I have to help her no matter what. It's not just that. It's like he wants to die, right? He wants to die, unfortunately. Um, especially just we already talked about the whole being reborn thing. What this is essentially suicide and being reborn. It's no wonder that his mentality in life has led him to this point. Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. And he's dead. He's dead. And then he's back. I have no idea what this timer means. Um, here she is, which I really wonder, like, I don't know, because immediately, obviously, like her being in this state makes you think of Shinobu immediately, right? But obviously, this isn't the Shinobu we know, right? Very different still. We don't know what's going to go wrong. We don't know how all of this is going to end so badly. Um, we just know that it's going to, and we know it's going to be really rough on Araragi. He's really going to blame himself for everything that happens here. Um, right now, I just don't know how, because, I mean, if he hadn't helped her, she would have died. I guess he wouldn't have, lost his humanity, which I just, man. Hmm. It's very interesting. I guess I don't really have much more to say than that. She helps him, she saves him. Another person saving Araragi. I don't really have much more to say on it than that. She saves him, you know. She obviously, you know, she is thankful to him for helping her, obviously, right? The second minion, he's her second minion in 400 years, which, I don't know, that's a long time, not making any minions. Had to assume this form because of him, giving her, you know, wasn't enough blood. I'm trying to think if that, like, yeah, I don't know. There's so many little things that I feel like you can extract some meaning from, but I don't know. I would really have to think. They show us the tree, the stupid tree. What does it mean? Araragi is a tree. I don't know what that means, but he's a tree. So, and yeah, this very, you know, we have this shot of them. There's all this distance between them, and he says, you know, here, okay, no, this is, you know, it's about humanity again. So it's very interesting, right? Because like, it's like we can view humanity for him as being the way he was before, almost, right? Like, let's think of it like this. Let's think of it like this, right? Weakening your strength as a human, right? Or lowering your, I keep saying weaken. No, he says lower your strength as a human. And he gives the explanation about how it would make him worry about other people, so they become your weak points, right? But let's think of it like this as another way. Like, he wants to return to being human. From being a vampire as he is now. Now he is literally, he's a monster. He's a vampire, right? He's lost his humanity because he's formed a connection with another person, with Hanakawa, right? Like, again, I'm not blaming Hanakawa for it. I'm not saying that's literally why. No, the reason why is because Kishot made him a vampire. I'm saying that, like, narratively, that is what happened, right? You know? So, like, he's lost his humanity in both literal terms, in that he's not a human anymore, and in his weird way of, like, it's like your humanity is tied to, like, not being connected to other people, I guess. I guess you can think of it like the way you are without being influenced by other people, right? Let's say it's like that, right? Um it's like Araragi thinks without a connection to other people, that's the only way he's human, you know? Because he thinks, because what's his mindset on receiving help from other people, right? He thinks it's selfish. He said people selfishly get help from other people for their own sake, right? So it's like in his mind, he thinks being changed by other people, connection to other people and being changed by them is another form of this weird selfish connection that he thinks all relationships are, pretty much, right? Like, so in that way, you can view it as his humanity is him by himself not being connected to other people. And as a vampire, it's like him not, it's him, it's, you know, him being a vampire now, being a monster, it's literally was caused by him forming a relationship with another person, right? And he is also, he's a monster now. He's lost his humanity in the way that he means with his weird, like, you know, I lose my strength as a human, right? Or lower my strength as a human when I connect to other people, right? And he says, you know, can I become human again, right? He wants his humanity back. He's lost it, you know, because he's been connected to other people now. And she says yes, of course, right? I skipped ahead a lot. Oops. I skipped ahead way too much. How did I even do that? And she says yes in this really weird way. She says she needs to be at full power. For one, it's weird that she says she has to be at full power because in Bake, it's been explicitly set up that he can regain his humanity. Oh my god, wait, this is crazy. Wait, like, I'm going crazy now. He can regain, Oshino says, and Black Hanakawa says in Bake, that he can regain his humanity. He can become human again, not be a vampire anymore, like he's saying right now. And he can do that by abandoning Shinobu, right? Which, for one, is weird because in terms of the mechanics of the world, like, Shinobu right here, or Kishot, is saying she has to be at full power to give him back his humanity, right? But in Bake, we're told that if he abandons Shinobu, he'll regain his humanity. It's weird. It's almost like, because if we're thinking of humanity in terms of like Araragi's view of it, of connection to other people, weakening his strength as a human, abandoning Shinobu in those terms could be seen as like, giving up on connection with someone, right? Giving up on his connection to Shinobu, giving up on whatever Shinobu means to him, giving up on that connection, what she has done for him. He would regain his humanity, right? Both literally and in terms of he will be human again by what he means by human, as in not being connected to other people, right? Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to really think a lot about a lot of that. Um, Now, so this is what I was saying, I'm trying to I don't really think there was much in this conversation. We ramble on about how they defeated her, and it's weird that she thinks Aragi is gonna beat them, even though, like, she lost, so I don't know how Aragi is gonna have any chance. Um, but yeah, so there's these vampire slayers who want to kill her. Um, and hmm. So there's these. Well, I'm thinking about stuff now. Okay, I'm thinking about stuff. Listen to me. I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm actually gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go insane. All right, listen. So, all right, Araragi, humanity. What does it mean for him? Connection to other people, right? He thinks being connected to other people, he loses what makes him like himself, right? He thinks it's selfish to seek help from other people, and it's like all of that, right? She says here, you still speak as if you were human, right? Because he's not human anymore. Now you're my minion, right? So, like, it's like, if we're thinking of it in terms of Araragi's mindset about relationships to other people and what that means, he thinks he will lose his strength as a human, like, and now that he literally isn't a human anymore, he has lost his humanity, right? He's a vampire. He is literally a minion of this, of Kiss Shot, right? So it's like, he has lost his humanity, literally being a vampire now, and through, like, he he's a minion now. It's like he is now completely her minion, It's like think about in terms of Aragi's thing about humanity, what that means, right? Like, he thinks other people influencing him is like bad and weakens him as a human, and now he's her minion in that he has to like do what she says. He's her minion, right? It's like that's like the ultimate form of losing his humanity in terms of like what he means by it. I'm really, it's almost like we have to come up with a different term for humanity for what Aragi means by it. Um, oh man, yeah, that's like crazy. Like, because it's not just that he loses his humanity by becoming a vampire. He loses his humanity by like, he his strength as a human is now so weak. His own like decision making is now so reliant on other people, which is what he wants to avoid because he thinks that's like selfish and bad. Now he's a minion who is fully controlled by another person. It's like the worst case scenario for his mindsets about connection to other people, right? Oh man. Of course, like, it's obvious that he's not actually, like, her minion in the sense that he has to do everything she says, but it's just the idea of her being his minion. I mean, the idea of him being her minion is so, like, it fits so well with what he said about losing his strength as a human. And he tries to fight them, and it does not go well. He's just gonna get owned by the vampire slayers. Um, and Oshino comes to save the day, which, I mentioned this a few times. Why is Oshino here, right? There's all these vampire slayers in town wanting to kill Kiss Shot. Why is Oshino here as well? Is he... I feel like he has to be related to whatever's going on here with Kiss Shot, right? Because, like, Araragi was unrelated, had nothing to do with it. Oshino just happens to be here, right? There's no way he's just here coincidentally. He's here... Oops. He's here in some way because of what's going on with Kiss Shot, right? He must be. Why else would he be here? I don't know if he's following around these vampire hunters, if he's following around Kiss Shot or something. Um, I don't know. It like because it says he wants to keep the balance, whatever that even means exactly. But like I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's no way he's just coincidentally in town at the same time, right? Because like this isn't his he doesn't live here, right? He leaves at the end of Bake, so he's here for a reason. I don't think that reason has anything to do with Araragi, right? Araragi just kind of stumbled into the middle of all of this. Hmm. Okay. Um. And yeah, Oshino introduces himself. He's the one who led her here. All of that. He's a random homeless person, as he says. He's a what does he say? Yeah, a free-spirited vagabond. Yeah, he's a random homeless person. That's how I prefer to view it. Um, man, what does that say? You know, yeah, this side is humans, that side is monsters. So it's like in a way, it's like if we're thinking of humans and humanity in terms of what Araragi means by it as a an allegory for human connection, right? Aragi thinks he will be less human, like less himself, if he lets other people influence him, right? And that's humanity. And letting other people influence you, letting them change you, forming relationships, you're now a monster, right? It's like he's trying to decide what side he's on now. And Oshino calls him a human, which, I would agree that Aragi you know, Aragi is literally not human. He is a vampire now, sure, but I I agree with Oshino that Aragi is still human despite having formed relationships with other people, right? I mean, we're talking about other people. It's just Hanakawa and Kiss Shot pretty much, right? But I mean, it was the whole Hanakawa thing that triggered all of this, right? Hmm. Yeah, it's quite troublesome for us humans, and that really affects Aragi. It zooms in on his face so much, he's really shocked by it. And I guess in a way you can view that as like the balance thing, it's like Aragi doesn't have to think of it in this weird like binary way of either you're a human or you're not a human, um, in terms of this weird connection thing that he has in his mind. Hmm. And then this whole like her turning him back into a human, I really don't, because we know she doesn't turn him back into a human, because he's not human at the end. Um, but we know Aragi blames himself for everything, and then we're given conflicting information. We're told later that if he just abandons Shinobu, he can return to being human. Um, so like, I don't know. I don't think Hishot's just lying here about turning him back into a human. I mean, maybe she is because Oshino kind of glares at her in a way. Um, I don't know. I really don't know. Hmm. He says he can negotiate with them, which honestly, frankly, that just kind of makes me feel more like Oshino must either be following them or something, right? He must have some part in everything that's going on here with Kiss Shot and them. Why else would he be in town, right? You're gonna help us? Now I'll just lend a hand. Yeah, as always. Hmm. And he charges him 2 million yen. Which we know later in Bake they say 5 million. I'm 100% sure they say 5 million later. Which is weird. The pay increases. I don't know why. I guess we'll see. But I was thinking about this during the episode with this whole financial debt thing. It's almost like it's very different. It's like it's a different category than the whole like emotional debt thing that Aragi has. Like he feels very indebted to many people. He says for Shinobu and for Hanakawa, he feels so indebted to them that he's willing to die for them, or he should just die for them. So this whole financial debt thing, it's weird. It's in a different I don't know. I don't know. It's a very heavy debt, but it's different than the whole emotional debt. And I'm just mentioning this because Araragi cares about debts so much, you know? I don't know. I don't really know what it's trying to say, I guess. And that's the end. I hope I didn't miss anything. I don't really think I did, but like, I mean, I'm sure I did. I always miss stuff, but man, very interesting. We really like, really, if we're thinking about this in terms of as if it's a Bake arc, like, you know, it's like the emotional setup at the beginning here is Araragi's stance on relationships, right? The whole humanity thing. Um, and we know it doesn't really improve. He still, I think he still kind of thinks like this in Bake. The stuff he says about, the stuff he says when like Black Hanakawa is choking him about how, you know, people selfishly accept help from other people for their own sake. That still shows he has a very negative view of relationships with people, right? Um, so like, just I don't know. I wonder how, and because we know at the end of this, he does not go back to being human, right? Both in terms of literally, he's still a vampire, and he still has connections with other people, right? He doesn't return to the way he was before, right? He is reborn, after all. Um, hmm. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we will see where this goes. Very interested in how much. I don't know how much of my rambling. Yeah, I feel like it has to be, you know, it kind of feels clear to me, right? The whole stuff about humanity, because it sets up early on what humanity means for Araragi, and then in the next scene, he loses his humanity after he does just what he was saying he doesn't want to do, which is make a friend. So I don't think I'm crazy. I think it makes sense. So, um, all right, well, I guess that's it. Um, I don't know how long that was. Hopefully it wasn't forever, but man, I guess we will see where this is going. This was just part 1 of 3, so we got a long ways to go. We know it's not going to end well. So, I don't know. I guess leave a comment, tell me what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next one.